Join PressBox at the Stoley touchdown zone at the corner of Sharp and Ostend Streets before every Ravens home game. Go to PressBoxOnline.com now for complete details. And welcome back to Inside PressBox, presented by Freedmont Mortgage. Mark Zinno has been covering sports in Baltimore for many years on 105.7 The Fan, but for most of 2011, his reports came from thousands of miles away in the desert sands, from the desert sands of Iraq. Now he's back in Baltimore and with me in the studio this week. Mark, thank you for your service and welcome to PressBox, Inside PressBox. It's great to see you again.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for having me here. It's great to be back in the Charm City one more time.
Hey, Monday, I don't often get out to the Monday press conferences with John Harbaugh, but after the Pittsburgh game, I always turn them on Comcast Sportsnet, and I missed the name, but John Harbaugh says, hey, and we want to welcome back, and I didn't hear the name. We thank you for your service and welcome home, and I think he saluted you, but he was talking about you.
Yeah.
He opened his press conference. That blow you away a little bit?
It does. You know, and on my way out the door at my last press conference last season, Coach Harbaugh went out of his way to say, good luck, Mark. You know, we know you're taking off and doing some great things. And he acknowledged me there, and he acknowledged me on my first day back. And, I mean, that speaks to not only the classy individual that he is, but I think it speaks even more to the way he runs the organization and the values that are important to him and the things that make the Ravens a great organization are embodied by John Harbaugh. And it was a very touching thing to see him recognize me in front of all my peers and in front of everybody who's watching in the city of Baltimore for my service, and that's something I'll never forget.
Do you feel that you're on a different level than other members of the media because of what you've done for your country?
No, I mean we all have the same job. We're all out there, you know, grinding the same thing, so to speak, trying to cover sports. I mean, maybe I'm a little bit more recognizable for what I've done, but if John Harbaugh goes out of his way to thank me, I'm sure if anybody else put on a uniform and did the same thing I did, he would do equally the same for them. I don't think that there's anything that, for me personally, that he did to acknowledge me, other than the fact that part of my job in life is to put on a uniform and go serve my country. So it's nice to know that he recognizes it.
Now, you've done 2 tours of duty over there,
yes.
2005, 2006,
right.
Then again in 2011. Mm-hmm. Do you see much difference?
Yes,
over
there is a world of difference. It's funny, when I first got back there, one of the first things I did my first days on ground, I just started driving around Baghdad on the compound that we're on, and just to look and see what was out there and see what had changed and what had stayed the same. And in some cases, things had changed, and for the better. In other cases, I looked at it and I said, you know what? Things have gotten worse. But then you think about it. I mean, we had the surge, and 150,000 troops were there, and 5 years have gone by, and you know, it's a lot.
With Katie
yeah,
Couric.
Katie Couric. Yeah, she took a liking to me. I have to say. Probably not. No, we had a lot of special people come by, and a lot of people who visited us. Everybody from William Gates when he was the Secretary of Defense, and Leon Panetta when he was the Secretary of Defense, Katie Couric. They have all the tours of cheerleaders who come through and things of that nature, and that's great to see. I mean, none of those people ever have to take time out of their schedules to do it. And the coach coming up from Stevenson, he went on a trip overseas, and you know that's something fantastic. I think that the people who choose to do that, they don't have to, and there's no reason that they should, because it's not like a fun trip. It's not a vacation. It's not Club Med.
No.
You know, you're not going to the Bahamas.
But it's their way of donating some service to
absolutely. And again, little things like that, when you get to shake hands with a professional athlete who comes over, or an MMA fighter or whatever who takes time out of there to greet you and say, hey, thank you for your service, and take a picture with you. You remember that stuff for the rest of your life.
I wanted to ask you something. This isn't sports related. What was morale like when you heard the news that they had gotten Osama bin Laden? Not just you.
Yeah,
I mean within
your whole entire theater of operations, so to speak. I mean, everyone was a little bit elated. You know, that was a crazy day for me, because the first question everybody gave me is, "Are you coming home now?" I'm like, guys, that was in Afghanistan. I'm in Iraq, so no, I'm not coming home. But it was a crazy day from the standpoint of there was so much pride in America, and there was so much that people wanted to know from what we felt overseas. And I can remember I did radio interviews from all over the country that day: Atlanta, Dallas, New York, Baltimore, everything, about bin Laden being killed. And the way I summarized it, Stan, was that it was a long, hard 10 years of a lot of work, of a lot of people. And yeah, there were only a select few of those Navy SEALs who got to go on that raid and do that special job, and those guys are the best of the best. There's no finer fighting force in the world than the Navy SEALs and the U.S. Army Special Forces, and those guys together did the job that they were asked to do. But a lot of people along the course of the way put in their effort, put in their part of the pie, no matter how small. It was a collaborative effort for everybody over the course of 10 years. And when we found out that we finally captured and killed him, or killed him for that matter, it was just, you kind of feel a sense of pride that, hey, you know what, even if my piece of the pie was only minuscule, it was my piece and it mattered.
Hey, we're almost out of time. I'll have you back on again whenever you want to come on. But how did you follow sports over there? We got about 45 seconds.
The internet is probably the easiest way to do it. The AFN, the Armed Forces Network, broadcasts a lot of live sports. You got to remember, we're 8 hours ahead in Baghdad, or 7 hours ahead, depending on daylight savings time. But so you get to watch some of it live, but it's in the wee hours of the morning, because 8 p.m. on the East Coast is 3 a.m. in Iraq. So you kind of have to get up early, you know. But the internet is probably the best way to go. And thank God, you know, this time around there's a lot more access to internet than there was my first tour. So for that, it's one of those things that helps boost morale.
Well, as John Harbaugh said, welcome back. We appreciate your service. Next time we have you on, we'll just talk some sports.
Fair enough. Thank you for having me. Thank
Mark
you.
Zinno, one of the best. We welcome our friends at Glen Burnie Transmissions. They're now celebrating their 50th year of providing Maryland residents with the very best in transmission services and repairs. Go to gbt-online.com. GBT is your dealer alternative.